Right, hello Aslam class. You may be wondering why I'm dressed up in chainmail, okay, uh, and my helmet here. Well, it's not a helmet; it's chainmail around the head as well. Because in today's history lesson, okay, we're talking about Romans, okay, and today I'm going to be a Roman, okay. Well, first of all, I just wanted to. Well, we're going to go on to about what Romans did for us as a as a sort of what they brought into this country, which we still maybe use today. Uh, but I just wanted to quickly show you uh, how Romans were so successful in taking over Britain. Because I know in yesterday's lesson we spoke about it, but I'm in school today and I thought, what a great opportunity for me to show you what a Roman may look like. Now, unfortunately, I couldn't locate an actual Legionnaire's helmet, okay? But instead, I've got this is what would have been worn underneath the Roman armor. So they would have also had Roman plates as well. This is called chainmail, and you can see it's made up of lots and lots of different chains. It is extremely heavy, okay? It is extremely heavy. I can feel the weight of this. This must be a good 15 kilos, maybe 20 kilos nearly of weight just on this alone. Just imagine what it would have been like having other things on top of you as well, including a helmet. This itself weighs a few kilos as well, maybe 5 kilos. So a lot of pressure on a Roman soldier. They must have been very fit, very healthy to be able to take over as many countries as they did. Now, obviously, this helped with them winning battles. When they faced other Celts or barbarians, they didn't have this kind of armor. Okay, some of them may have done, but not every soldier would have had this. The Romans did. Very, very good. And it's very, things would have sort of deflected off. So a very good piece of armor here, but it is extremely heavy and tiring. And if you were fighting all day long, it could drain your energy. So this is one reason why they did so well. Also, they had weapons that were, big spears and things like that. But they also had one thing that not many armies had, and that was a big shield. Now, I'm a pretty big guy. I'm about 6'2", okay? And this shield comes up to just above my sort of chest, below my chest. This shield itself, okay, is pretty big, yeah? So you can imagine a Roman soldier walking into battle with a shield and a sword, maybe a spear, and to be fighting, using your shield as a sort of thing to deflect other people's weapons off of you. I mean, the size of it, and then to strike. You had to be very trained and very physically fit, and that's why the Romans were so successful. This shield in particular was very useful for the Romans. What they used to do with this shield is, you can see how big it is. They would hold it like this, okay? And just imagine there would be rows and rows and rows of people at the front of the attack would hold their shield like this, okay? And it would cover them pretty much from their ankles up to here. And you can see that their head's exposed. But that's okay, because the people on the front, even though they were walking to the enemy like this, the people behind them would have had the shield above their heads like this to stop anything coming down, okay? So the people behind would be holding their shields. They didn't have their shields in front. Only the people at the front of the line had their shields at the front. People who were at the side would have their shields at the side like this, and then the people who were in the middle would all have the soldiers in the middle would hold their shields above their head like this. This way, you had like an impenetrable sort of human tank moving, because all angles were covered, okay? And if I was a Roman soldier moving forward, okay, I would feel pretty confident that I could get up close to the enemy. And when I got within striking distance of the enemy, okay, if the enemy was still there, if they hadn't run off by this point, okay, you've got spears that you can get in, you can move your shield away and attack, okay, and then come back in. Very similar to the Greeks' phalanx, where they would protect the person to the left of them with their shield. But this shield was also a weapon itself. I mean, you could push it forward and knock somebody out. You could hit someone like that and push them back, and then hit them with a spear, and then come back over. Okay, so lots of techniques that were used for this shield, but the main technique and the main strategy that they used was by using this sort of human tank. It was called the Roman tortoise. Okay, so you had people at the front with the shields like this, people behind with the shields on top, and then people on the sides would be protecting the sides. So they had all angles covered. That's why they were so successful in conquering not only Britain, but other lands as well. So let's get on with what the Romans actually did for us then, because after they invaded Britain, yeah, we think they may be a horrible bunch, but they actually brought some really good things to Britain that we still see today. So let's share the screen and let's find today's lesson. Here we go. So today's lesson, we will be looking at why the, no, we've done this one. Well, that's a good recap. I've never done a recap like this quite before. Sorry, I've started the PowerPoint at the beginning. So here we go. Can I explain the impact that the Roman Empire had on Britain? And what we're going to do today is look at what kind of the Romans brought to Britain and how the legacy of the Romans have been left here. So the following group of local fighters plotting to resist Roman occupation in Jerusalem in 0 BC. So this is a video, okay? You cannot watch this video through this video. The last time I did that, I got a warning to say that I've been infringing copyrights and things like that. So what you need to do, this link will be in the blurb underneath the video. You need to click that link and you need to watch the video so that we know that there was similar resistance from Celtic tribes in Britain, similar to the rebellion that you see in this video. And when you watch this video, I want you to think about, do you think the Roman occupation had its advantages? So the Romans, hopefully you watched that video. Now the Romans were very clever at inventing things. They took a lot of their ideas from the Greeks, and the Greeks were very good at these types of things as well. They were so technologically advanced that many of their inventions would not be used again in Europe for nearly 1,000 years after the Roman Empire had disappeared. So the Romans invented lots of things such as roads, what we drive on today. They invented them, and they used to make roads in a straight line. Well, I'm pretending to be a Roman. We made roads in a straight line so you could get quicker from one place to another. Concrete. Concrete is all around us. Your homes, the building that I'm in now is probably made out of concrete. So we've got the Romans to thank for inventing concrete, haven't we? And here we've got one, hand-powered or human-powered cranes. The Romans, their architecture was brilliant. They built really big things and extravagant things. How do they do it? Well, they made their own cranes. Today we've got cranes, but they're machine-powered. But back in them days, in the Roman days, they had human-powered cranes to help them lift heavy, heavy objects such as marble and concrete. Baths. They invented public baths. Now they're very different to our public baths today. Our public baths have chlorine in them and we go swimming in them. But the Romans introduced that to this country. Okay, they may not have had chlorine, but they knew how to heat that water up, and they knew that this was a social gathering. People used to go here to meet and spend nearly a whole day there for some people. They understood the importance of cleanliness. Now, central heating, yeah, they just talked about this. They were brilliant at underground heating. So they would light a furnace, which would heat up water inside, and then that water would travel along all these different pipes underneath the floorboards or underneath the flooring of many buildings, Roman buildings, so they could have heating. Laws. The Romans had something called a Senate, and it was like a government, really, and that's where they made laws for people to follow. So they introduced that as well. And aqueducts. These are bridges for running water. So they could transport water from a lake or a river and make it so that it can travel into the local town, so people have fresh supply of water for drinking, washing, for cleaning, and also for growing crops. And the last one, toilets. Yeah, they invented toilets as well. They understood that the cleanliness and hygiene. Okay, now all of these things that we see in these pictures here, we still have today. So we need, if it wasn't for the Romans, we could argue that none of these things would exist. So even though they lived 2,000 years ago, we know a lot about how they lived, and we know a lot of them, because a lot of their buildings and documents have survived over 2,000 years. I mean, concrete is quite a hard thing to get rid of. We know that they used to like marble, and they used tiles as well. So when we dig down into the ground, where over the years ground has built up, we can find Roman artifacts still pretty well preserved. Okay, this is a website. Again, this will be in the link below. If you go on this website and have a look and navigate your way through it, it will show you. It's a BBC website. Did it work? Yes. So how did Romans change Britain? Go on here. You can read through here. There's a nice video here that you can watch. Again, I can't play it because I'll get told off by YouTube. And just a little bit more information about the Romans and what they did in Britain. There's a lot of information there, so I'm not going to go through all of it. But if you want to know about Roman towns, language, the numbers that they used, and we still use them numbers today. We were doing our maths arithmetic at the moment. So have a look through this website. It's quite useful. It's got some good information there. I advise that you have a look at that during today's lesson. So these are some of the things. Now, cranes. Cranes can lift heavy materials required height in the safest way. They are cost effective and can help jobs to be finished quicker. The size of them means that they can move in many ways through construction sites, and they help buildings to be built as they transport materials and equipment. And you see cranes in every single new building that's being built nowadays. You'll see cranes everywhere. Now, roads. Roads allow for transportation. So roads were always designed, and they were designed by the Romans to get from point A to point B. The Romans wanted to do it in the quickest way possible. So many Roman roads are straight. And there's always this famous saying that all roads lead to Rome. And that's because the Roman army would come out of Rome and travel across the empire. And that's why that saying says all roads lead to Rome. But roads today, we still use them for transport. And they may not be completely straight, but it allows people to travel easier and easily to other areas of the country or places of work and school. And nowadays, roads are big enough so that we can have not just small cars, we can also have big lorries and things like that to help transport cargo. Toilets. Okay, in the Roman days, they were just a hole, and you used to just do your kind of business in the hole, in a sort of toilet setting, which was then taken away and was disposed of. Today, we still use the toilets, but they're not just a hole in the ground. They're actually an appliance that we can have. They come in all different shapes and sizes. We flush the toilet so it washes away all the waste, and we clean. It's a hygienic way of getting rid of waste and getting rid of germs into the environment. Central heating. Now, yeah, we've got radiators, okay, and for central heating, we still use the same basic principles that the Romans did. You have a furnace that you burn, and then the water from that furnace, or the steam that is made, travels throughout the house and heats up the house. Radiators do exactly the same job. We don't have a furnace though, we call it a boiler. And you turn your boiler on, and the boiler will then start heating water from the hot water tank and sending it to the radiators. And then the radiators heat up with the hot water, and then they spread out. They're a lot cheaper than using an electric heater, that's for sure, because they don't use electricity. Laws. Now, laws are things that make things run smoothly, and the Romans wanted, obviously, to make their empire run as smoothly as they could. So that's why they invented laws. They protect the rights of individuals. They could punish the accused. So the laws. So if you do something wrong, there are laws to say, well, if you've done this, this is what's going to happen to you. And it provides a guideline of what is accepted in society. And even today, we've got laws. You know, we have to wear face masks now in public spaces. In shops and things like that. It's law. If you're found breaking that law, you could get fined. Laws are there for guidelines to help people do the right thing. Now, aqueducts. We don't really use aqueducts anymore because a lot of our water and pipes are underground, under the roads and pavements. But back in the Roman times, they obviously didn't have the manpower to dig up the grounds, so it was a lot quicker for them to build aqueducts. And the aqueducts here would go over rivers, things like that, and water would travel across the aqueduct into towns so that people could wash, clean, and have fresh water running to them. So there we are. So your tasks for today are you got 3 tasks. Task number 1. Again, you don't have to do all of these tasks, but task number 1, all of you should be able to do, is write down in a spider diagram the things that the Romans invented. If you want to further yourself, and we'll go on to challenge 2, by all means do. Choose which invention you think is most important that the Romans gave to Britain, and you need to do some more research on your choice. That's why the BBC website link that I gave you there may be useful, and also the video, it will be useful to look at as well. And then number 3, to really push yourself, make a video recording yourself, stating the reason why that you think that invention was important. So for example, I'm going to say, I think roads were the important thing that the Romans invented, because without roads, I wouldn't be able to drive my car long distances to see my family and friends. I would have had to walk there, and that would have taken ages, especially if they live all the way in Wales or in Timbuktu or wherever. The roads have helped us and a great deal. Not only can we travel to places, but it enables people, companies, food and things like that to be traveled to be transported, as well. Okay, I'm going to take all of this stuff off because I'm getting really hot underneath this, and it's getting really heavy, and I don't want to. There we are. Well, imagine if I was wearing the helmet as well. That would have been really hard. Right, see you in the next video, guys, and have a good day.